We're back for another episode of Bucket List Living with Brad Norwood. Today is an episode that I am extremely excited about. It's something I've dabbled in on the side. Those of you that have listened and followed the show are very familiar with Coach Joe Hart and the things we've done with products for profit and the flipping game. But I wanted to bring you today a guy that has created his own empire. Kyle Senes joins the show, the author of the program It's Flippin' Easy. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. You know, you're a great follow on Twitter. You're probably a Twitter king by the way people proclaim themselves anymore. But you brought so much attention to yourself through, and not intentionally, but the attention grew to you and the following came to you because of the enormous gains you were making in flipping, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had the plan of getting into something on Twitter to basically show my progress through all of it. And flipping, I mean, it came to me because I've done it my entire life, pretty much. I started when I was young, but then when COVID hit and we were at home, I was going through the full money Twitter stage there. I started in about February of 2020. And then basically I got started with products for profit on April 4th. And so that's when I really started to, take it more seriously as a business. I was doing it on the side. Just used items. I would flip on OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. But then when basically I got introduced to leads, that because I was just doing this stuff on my own. But then when I had leads, it just took it to the next level. And I showed my progress. I was like, hey, day one, here's eBay. This is what I'm doing. Like, let's see what's going to happen. And then I just progressed through the thing. And I've always been pretty good at flipping. I've done it throughout my life, but I knew that once I found something that worked, because of my experience, I was comfortable just like going hard at it. So when we had the weights and pools and stuff like that, once I found that worked, I was like, all right, man, it's game time. Let's go.
So you mentioned pools, and that's great because pools is actually where you and I kind of connected. I had followed your story along, of course, being connected with Joe and following the quote money Twitter. And I saw you having all this success, and I thought, and I hadn't taken it seriously. I just was kind of following along. Those that know my story, I joined it to teach my son a lesson so that he could start to learn it. But, I thought I was having a proud dad moment about, listen, Bryson, you're going to really learn that the guy's making money off his membership, not off the flipping. And we continued to see you just go and go and go and go. So finally I DM'd you one day and I said, all right, man, what is it? And I'll never forget. And I tell people that know me personally and know the story, they laugh at me. It's great. You replied back, pools, bro. And you sent me a picture of the Summer Wave swimming pool.
Yep.
And it was history from there for me and my son, because we immediately started turning swimming pools left and right. In fact, Walmart ran out of them. That's a whole nother story for another podcast. But is that where your success really, is that where the light came on for you with swimming pools as well?
It was weights, but we were limited with weights. And then it started to as gyms opened up, it just kind of, weights got me in the mood basically. And then pools is what really took it over. And so then when pools started, so I can kind of go a little bit in depth on when Walmart went out of stock, because that's like really when I took off with pools. So I was doing retail arbitrage and getting all the pools myself. I have a Honda Civic though. And so I wasn't able to get something, basically larger than like the 15-foot inflatable pools. I couldn't do anything larger than that in my car. And so I was like passing up a bunch of the Colemans, like 18 and 22-foot Colemans and all that. And those are selling for like $400 or $500 profit. But so I was doing basically as much as I could in store. And then once they went out of stock, there was this eBay company. It's a wholesaler, and they offered pools like a little bit above retail price. And so I was in a group that had monitors, restock monitors that were monitoring those. It was VM Express was the company. They were monitoring those pools. And so everyone locally went out of stock because they were all sourcing at Walmart and Target. And then I was just sitting at home spending thousands of dollars a day on my computer and getting them shipped to my house. And so when the local market dried up, like me and a few other people in the Phoenix area were like the only ones that had pools. And so that's when like we really started wheeling and dealing. And I would do the bigger pools too, because they would just get dropped to me on a UPS or FedEx truck. And so I would do most of those local. And so that way I didn't have to put it in my car and kind of got around it. But pools was really what took it off. Yeah. Because I did about like $100,000 in revenue in like 2 months on pools. And then it just got me really into it, obviously, but it really opened more doors with that profit. I mean, you need money to make money in this business. And so I kind of parlayed that money very well into other things, cards. And then I started getting involved in Amazon. And that's when, I mean, now we kind of know, if people know my story, how that's gone, but I always was reaching towards the next step kind of, and just parlaying I like using that term. I was parlaying my money around, and I mean, it worked out well.
Now, as a backfiller, you were doing all this as a side gig. You still had a regular 9 to 5, right?
Yeah. So I quit my job around the end of August, but that entire time from beginning of April to that moment when I quit, I was doing that all full-time part-time as an engineer on my main gig. But I was fortunate that we were working from home. If I was in the office, it'd be a lot harder. I rerouted my morning Walmart route to end towards my office when I was working there, but it was really limiting me. And I was like, literally, I was sitting at my desk just so mad at the world, because I was like, I should be out going and getting pools right now and doing way more than I'm making here. I was making like $175 a day. And I'm like, I can make that on a pool, like just one pool. So I need to get out there. But yeah, I mean, I was doing it part-time. And I mean, it scaled to a full-time income within probably about 4 months. So it was relatively fast when it happened. But I mean, this is the one side gig that I found success with, like pretty much right away. I've done a lot of different things, but this one really took off. And so I was like, okay, I'm young enough. I got the engineering degree. I'm just going to run with this and see what I can do with it. And it's worked out well so far.
So Kyle, people listening got to be wondering, okay, flipping. First of all, for those of you unfamiliar with flipping, it's simply buying an item or even having an item around your house and then flipping it for profit, selling it for a profit. So the people listening that know and understand what that is, Kyle, why in the world don't they just get online and buy it themselves, or go to Walmart themselves and get it? Why does it work? Are you taking advantage of people? How does this thing go?
So, I mean, I take advantage of the data. That's what I take advantage of, because there's certain things, it's a free market, and the people that are buying the items are the ones that set the price. And so whether it be just eyes on the product with Amazon does 50% of all e-com sales. You can go Walmart.com, Target.com, anything like that. That's all in the e-com brand. Well, Amazon does 50% of that business. And so when you have more eyes on it, one, it's going to create more demand for that item. And I mean, it's simple supply and demand. Once the demand goes up, the price is going to rise. And so I just kind of follow those trends. I mean, whatever it may be, if there's money there, I'm going to be there. And it's not like I'm trying to take advantage of people. It's like, hey, this is what they're willing to pay. I'm not putting a gun to their head, like trying to get them to give me money or anything. They're like, hey, this is what I'm willing to do. Here's a handshake deal. And I look for it's discrepancies in the market. I mean, it's been one of the oldest professions in history. I mean, you buy an ounce of gold in Jerusalem and you sell it for what it's worth in two. I forget whatever the city is, but that's the common term. It's like you find something that it's worth what it's worth, but maybe in a different market. So eBay, you find something what it's worth on eBay, and then you go and look what it's worth on Amazon. And if there's a discrepancy, it's like there's a profitable lead that you can go for. So I mean, it's finding things for cheaper, selling them for higher. I mean, there is a negative stigma that surrounds it just because of what it is, but people have to understand. I think that people that aren't in business professions don't really understand how common that is. Like with my engineering job, I dealt with resellers every day. And so it's just, I mean, they're finding ways to make money and capitalizing on the market. It doesn't have to be retail items. It could be regulators and control valves, like with what I was selling. So, I mean, it's just, I feel like once people understand how common that is, that kind of shuts them down. And it's like Walmart and Target, they're resellers themselves. They don't make any of their items. So they're using their buying power basically to get people the everyday low prices for Walmart. They do that because they're savages on their buying side. They buy things for crazy low and then they're selling it at their low prices. But they're in business for a reason. They're making money. So I mean, it is what it is, just a business practice. That's how I view it.
Yeah. So you've got all these pools, you've got sports cards, everything else that you're flipping, all these things. Are you turning your house, your living quarters into a warehouse? And then
Um,
I've got to ask, is the UPS or the FedEx guy one of your best friends now?
yeah, so I have the FedEx guy's number. I still need to get the UPS number. But so when I was doing pools, I was living in a 1-by-1 apartment, and it was probably about 750 square feet around there. So my living room turned into a warehouse. I posted some videos on my Instagram with it, but it was hard to walk around. And now my front room has I'm in a 3-bed, 2-bath house. And I'm living here alone. This is property one of my rental portfolio. So not going to live here for too long. It's way too big of a house for just me. But my front room has turned into shipping center, inventory holding center, printing center. I mean, there's a whole lot going up in that front room. And then my spare bedroom, my guest bedroom, I'm in my office here and I sleep in the master. The spare bedroom is getting overrun right now, and I just placed a lot of Lego orders, and so that room is going to get full really quick. So it's going to be interesting. I may need to get a storage unit at some point here in the next couple of months, based on how things are kind of going.
It's overwhelming to hear you talk about your house is full. And of course, you're fortunate. You're a young single guy. You don't have a
Yeah,
wife and kids taking up those other rooms so you can do that.
yeah.
People right now are going, wait a minute, how can I do this? This sounds way too hard, but let's get into the guide. You've, in addition to operating, creating, finding your own business through this, you've created a guide and it's called It's Flippin' Easy. It doesn't sound easy, Kyle, but
Yeah.
I'm a purchaser, subscriber of your guide, and you make it so easy. You lay it out step by step what has to be done. Talk about your guide, if you will.
So the whole idea, I get a ton of DMs. I'm sure that most people watching this, if you have DM me, you've been waiting there for a bit. So I try my best with that, but I get so many questions and I have to like just carry 50, 80, 100 conversations over time with people. And so it becomes a lot. And so I have this just like rolling FAQ going on in my head. And I'm like, all right, I need to take my time back because like this is getting overwhelming. I'm going to create something where people, no matter what their experience level is, if they're just beginning, if they've been doing it for a little bit, kind of struggling, been doing it, had success, or you're like me and you just want to further your knowledge and kind of go into how I view things, which I offer up in my guide in the Amazon section, a strategy which some people use, but not a lot of people have really been exposed to. And so experienced Amazon sellers have found benefit from that as well. But pretty much my overall goal was to take someone from 0 to 100. So doesn't even know what flipping means. They're like, hey, I followed you on Twitter. What is this flipping thing? What exactly is that? I wanted to take that type of person and have them get set up whatever platform they wanted to do. So eBay, that's where pretty much I started, eBay and local flipping. So I go over eBay, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. And that's kind of like the basic flipping. Someone that's just getting started in the business would probably start there. And then I also go over Amazon. So I'm coming up on, in 2 days, actually, will be my 5-month anniversary on my first sale on Amazon. So it took me 5 or 6 months of flipping to get to the point where I was kind of comfortable going on Amazon. It's a whole different ballgame and it's a lot more complicated. There's a lot more software that's involved. But now that I've gone through it, I was like, okay, this is really where I can capitalize on this guide. Is everyone has trouble getting set up on Amazon. They don't know how to do the tax exempt. They don't know how to get ungated, just Keepa, how to read things. Like it's complicated. There's a lot to learn. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go hard on basically explaining everything I can, A to Z, on what exactly I do, how I use the tools, what I'm looking for, like what my buying criteria is. The thing that's awesome about Amazon is everything is data related. And so, I mean, I'm an engineer, so I love data, but I can utilize that. And I do have a skill set with that. But basically, once you learn the steps on how to validate a product, it's night and day. Is this product profitable? Is it not? Yes. Okay, let's buy a lot of it. No. All right, let's move on to the next thing. And so, and I mean, I get a decent amount of questions on how I source things. I mean, you can use, it's what's called tactical arbitrage. You can use those scans, and the reverse search is all right. But literally what I do, I don't have a subscription to tactical arbitrage right now. Call it archaic, whatever it be. I've had success with it, and so I do it. I look at items on Walmart, Target, Lego, GameStop, whatever it is, and I'm like, okay, here's what I can buy the price for. What is it selling for on Amazon? Does it work? Yes. Sweet. Let's go. I'm going to buy a lot of it. And so that's just kind of, I wanted to make Amazon simple for people so they can view it the way that I view it. It's not like, oh, Amazon is just this big beast. How do I get involved in this? I don't even know what's going on. It's like, no, okay. Let's walk you through step by step. Once you understand all these tools, it's a check mark. Does it check this box? Cool. Yeah. Sales rank low. Awesome. Selling a lot. Check. Is there a profit margin? Here's what I'm buying it for. Here's what I'm selling it for. Check. Awesome. Can I buy it? Can I source it? Yes. Check. It's like, once you understand that, it's flipping easy. And so that's kind of where the mantra came from. It's like, I mean, people think it's complicated, but it's not. People ask me what I do all the time, and they get this deer in the headlights look when I explain, and I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, I'm not. Yeah, I was an engineer, but this doesn't involve any of that. Like, you don't have to have a degree. You could be a college dropout, high school dropout, and kill it. I mean, I feel like a lot of those people are going to be more motivated to find something to do in this realm anyway. So it's like that shouldn't be a limiting factor. I get that response. They're like, oh man, I don't know if I could like understand. I'm like, no, it's night and day once you understand it. Just give it a try. That's the main thing.
Right. And it doesn't have to be full time like you do it, right?
Yeah.
It can be done in what, as little as 2 hours a day, an hour a day?
I was sourcing in the morning when I was working for, an hour pretty much. And yeah, that's another great thing. Yeah, I'm doing it full time, but one of the best benefits of flipping is you can do as much as you want to. It's if you want to pay off an electric bill, a phone bill, whatever, just with a few flips a month, it's so attainable. I mean, I've shown how you can literally take it and create a full-time income. So if someone is able to do that, it's like you can easily make $500 a month, grand a month, pay down your mortgage. I mean, there's so many benefits to this business. It's pretty wild.
So people are listening and they're wanting to know, okay, well, and it's today's world, right? Well, just tell me, what is it, right? What's a hot item right now that you can give out on the show that say, hey, look, if you can find this, go buy it, sell it on eBay as a starter. This will get you started. You'll love the juice. It's the key to bucket list flipping.
So first one that comes off the top of my head, and I've been tweeting about it a little bit, but there's a Lego Star Wars figure, and sales are mainly for toys in general. They're mainly going to be focused around Amazon. eBay does command a profit for some of them, but it's really, when you're selling toys, you want to go on Amazon. There's a Lego Star Wars set. It's set number 75254. It's an ATST. Basically, it's one of the two-legged robots. And it's got a Cara Dune minifigure in there. And if you guys follow, Nate Ellis, you got Drew, Brick Scanner, they created an awesome program over there. But Greg posted an article on Brick Scanner about 75254 and was basically making the case for once it retires, how it's going to go up in value. I was buying this like beforehand when he was talking about that before the Cara Dune situation. Now the minifigure in there, the Cara Dune, because she's getting removed basically from all Disney products, that's now an exclusive figure. And so that price is going to go up. I'm buying as much as I possibly can of it. I'm buying it mainly on Target. There's another wholesale website that I bought from. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to people just because I haven't done it before and I haven't received the product yet, but I did place that order. Walmart, if you can find it, they're going to be mainly online because the in-store stock will also be listed online for the most part. And so if you can, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard. I use monitors right now. So I'm basically just sitting in a Target monitor, and when it comes back into stock, I click it and I buy it. It's not necessarily, there's a lot of groups that have monitors. So it's like you can join a group and get access to it. You can do it yourself if you want. You're just going to be doing a lot of clicking, but I mean, it's relatively easy once you have it put in front of your face. So like, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just utilizing the tools that I have, and I'm buying a good amount of it right now. I tweeted yesterday, if my wholesale order that I placed yesterday comes in, I will now, once I'm selling this 75254, I'll have enough to put a down payment on a house. So I'm really going hard on this, and I highly recommend, if anyone can find it, then put all your money that you can into it, because it's going to be a profitable one for sure.
That's awesome. And so, and I love how you mentioned your goal there, because you stated that a few weeks ago. Hey, if I get enough Legos, my goal, I think you even said my goal is to get enough Legos that when I sell them, I'll be able to have enough for a down payment. And then you tweeted just yesterday, hey, look, if this comes through now, I will have the down payment for my house. So let's talk about goals, because we talk about that in bucket list living all the time. It's so important to have the goals. What is your overall goal? What target are you after for your bucket list in regards to flipping?
Real estate. So that's truly my end goal. I've always looked at jobs or sources of income as a means to an end and what I actually want to do in life. And so flipping is like, I truly like flipping. Like I enjoy what I do. And that's why I was able to like fully go at it and quit my jobs, because I was comfortable. I'm like, yeah, I enjoy this. I like going into the store and doing the scavenger hunt, trying to find items. And then if I can do something successfully with online arbitrage and it comes to my door, I'm like, oh yeah, that is so easy. Like I didn't even have to go to the store, just click a few buttons. So I really like that aspect of it. But I mean, it's a lot of work. I work a lot. I mean, I don't know how, I can't quantify how much I work, but I work a lot. And I mean, it's not just a lot of work, it's a lot of active work. So I'm carrying heavy stuff, and I'm young, I can do that, but I can't do that for my entire life. So I'm like thinking about those things. I want to move into private label. That's really where kind of my end goals are. I'm starting that up actually right now. I mentioned I have a consulting call tomorrow. That's what that's for. I'm going to be working with a mentor now. So getting started on private label, that's kind of to back off on things a little bit. I'm still going to do mainly OA instead of RA, but I kind of want to take my time back. And I also want to build something that has an exit plan. And so I talk about it in the guide, private label is basically like your own replen with Amazon. And so you're creating your own replen, but not only that, you can scale it like crazy, and you have an exit plan. If you're running a successful business and you're going to be on multiple platforms, Shopify, I mean, whatever it is, there's going to be companies that will come and offer to buy you out. I mean, sometimes for multi-million dollars. And so that's kind of where my mindset is on what I really want to move into. And then with those funds, with the profit from that business, I'm moving everything into real estate. I mean, like, this is my number one house in my portfolio. When I'm able to qualify with my 1099 income, I want to buy at least 3 or 4 more houses. If the market is there, Phoenix is pretty wild right now, but if I can find the deals and the market's there, I want to start planting my money into real estate. And I guess my first goal with that would be to get my living expenses covered with my profit per month on my portfolio. So, I mean, if I can get 300, 400 profit a month from a house, and then I scale that up 10 houses, that's $4,000 a month, which is about what my expenses are right now, around there, 4,500, around there, depends. But if I can get that covered, that's where I'll have my sigh of relief. I'm like, okay, I can literally not do anything for the rest of my life. I mean, assuming I hire a property management company to take care of things, but like I can sit back and not have to worry about my bills. That's truly passive, especially when you have a management company in place. But it's more, I mean, it's a hard asset. It's an appreciating asset. You can depreciate it. So tax wise, it's awesome. There's just so many benefits to real estate. That's what my grandpa's done pretty well for himself. He's involved in real estate. So I've always kind of been inspired by that, so to speak. And I just feel like it's the best wealth building opportunity that I could take advantage of, especially in the market that I'm in. I feel like Phoenix and the outskirts of Phoenix are going to kind of turn into like the LA type market. And there's a lot of people moving out here too. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot to capitalize on that. And that's where my end goal is. I don't know. I'm never going to stop working, but that's where I want to really focus all my efforts once I have that capital.
I love hearing that why in you and why you're doing that. Love hearing the legacy there too, aspiring to from your grandfather and learning from him and continuing to carry that on. So Kyle, as we get close to wrapping up, this is the one question I've been dying to ask. And you kind of get towards it a little bit with the you getting into real estate, but eBay was made famous by the guy that took the paperclip and turned it into a down payment for a house. What is the craziest thing that you have ever flipped?
Oh man. So I'm trying to think of something beats it before I say it. I don't think it's got to be Fauci. That's my number one flip ever, and it was the funniest thing. I'm trying to think of something if it's funnier, but Dr. Fauci, the opening pitch back in April, whenever it was, the Tops made a Fauci card because it was a terrible first pitch, and so they got him mid throw. He like terrible form. He was like out here, and I was actually, it was right around. Where was I? I think I was at a party with my friends. It was like a Friday night or something like that. And someone just mentioned it to me. They're like, oh my God, they dropped a Fauci like print on the first pitch. And I was like, no way, that is hilarious. Like I was just throwing money at him, like, okay, but that's just a hilarious gag gift, if anything. So I bought 10 of them. And then I was waiting for him to come in. And then someone in a group that I was in was like, you guys need to go and look at what the Fauci card's going for right now on eBay for the pre-sales. And I looked and it was going. So I backstory, bought this card for $5 a pop. And so it was like a $54 order, something like that. They were going for $250 to $300 on eBay, a card in this pre-sale. And so I was like, okay, game on. And I listed my pre-orders right away and they started selling. And so I made probably about like $1,800 off of a $54 buy cost. And I got dragged for it on Twitter. The card Twitter did not like that. I made a joke of a tweet out about it and they went at me. They doxed me and everything. That was, I learned my lesson not to really mess with them, but that was an interesting flip. But it was so funny. And I saved one and I sent that off to PSA to get graded. So if that comes back at 10, that's going to be in my shrine for forever.
That's incredible. That's awesome. What a great story there. Hey, Kyle, thanks so much for your time today and joining the show. If people are looking to get your guide, we'll put that in the show notes, but how do people get in touch with you? I know your DMs are closed, but how can they follow you along on social media and get in touch with you?
So I'm at Kyle Senes or at Kyle_Senes13 on Twitter. It'll never change. My original Twitter account got hacked pretty much. That was Senes13, which is my true one, but whatever. I don't have it anymore. So Kyle_Senes13 on Twitter. Very active on Twitter, as most of you probably know, but then also Instagram, kind of trying to build up my Instagram a little bit, just at Kyle Senes, all one word. And that's pretty much the main two that I'm active on for the time being. So
Perfect.
that's really cool to me. And then, yeah, my DMs are closed right now, but I do answer questions all the time in comments. So don't feel afraid to reach out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can get your guide. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. We'll also link his social media in the show notes. So if you're looking to get a hold of Kyle, want to know more about flipping and how you can change your life to a bucket list lifestyle just through the art of flipping, you can do that with the help of Kyle Senes. Kyle, thanks again so much for joining the show. I do want to ask you, we ask every guest on the show one final question before we go. And for you, I'm going to ask you about challenges. What challenge are you going to conquer today?
Challenge I'm going to conquer today. Oh man, this is embarrassing to say. I've I've lagged so long on getting my car registered in Arizona. And so I literally, after we hang up, I'm going to be calling Honda to get that taken care of.
That's okay. That's all right. Get it done. Keep that car in your name, my man. You need that car to get around, pick up some more pulls because pull season's coming. Hey, thanks again for joining the show. Those of you watching, don't forget to subscribe to our channel below. Again, we'll list Kyle's information in the show notes. Until next time, remember, the bucket list life is a life worth living. Have a great day.